Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a 5-month-old e-commerce site for sale on the pets niche. This site makes just under $5,000 per month in net profit. The listing number for this one is 40453. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business, cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, AJ. Appreciate it.
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me.
All right, now let's do a quick rundown of the business. You built this in November 2015. It is an e-commerce business in the pets niche. Monthly revenue is $7,343 a month. That's a 4-month average. You've got expenses at $2,517 a month, and that brings us to net profit for $4,826 a month. Again, that's a 4-month average. That's built on Shopify, and you're including all the social media accounts and the Facebook being most important of those. Does that sound like a pretty good kind of like a quick summary of the business?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. All right, well, let's do a quick introduction. Can you tell me a little bit about your background in like building and running websites and online businesses? How'd you get into this?
So as I got started working online, I had some health problems, and when I was going through my teenage years and getting out of high school, that prevented me from going out and getting a regular either part-time or full-time job. So I was kind of confined to my house and to my room, and so I wanted a way for kind of like an outlet for all my energy to go into building something for myself rather than having to worry about getting myself better and then having to go out and work for somebody else. So I started a lot of little niche websites, Amazon sites, AdSense sites, and then I eventually got into the e-commerce space. I've sold a number of different types of products. I've done video game accessories, I've done baseball cards, I've done clothing, I've done a whole bunch of different things. So I think all of the different websites that I've ran have kind of led me to where I'm at today. And it's just a genuine passion of mine to start up new sites and get them off the ground and see where they can go.
It's interesting you talked about kind of being confined to your room and not being able to go out, and I kind of wanted to put that effort into something. I mean, a lot of people might put it into video games or something much less productive. So I think you took the right route here. Now, your niche, and particularly your piece in that niche, is very specific, and so I want to avoid saying exactly what it is that you're providing, but it is a unique idea. How did you get into the pets industry? I mean, do you have animals yourself? Is it something that you care about personally and passionately, or is it just something you saw like an opportunity?
It was a mix of both. I have a dog. Her name is Sandy. She, she's a part of the family, so love her to death. But it was also, and I saw an opportunity. Obviously, the pets niche is a very large market. All sorts of opportunity for growth and for building out products and websites in that niche because, how many millions of people have dogs or cats in their house, and for the most part, everybody that owns an animal is extremely passionate about it and willing to spend money if it means taking care of their pet or providing a better life for their pet. So it was really a mix of both of a passion and an opportunity.
All right, talk to me a little bit about the business. Like, as I said, it's built on Shopify. So someone that's interested, they find you either via paid traffic or organic or whatever. They go to the site and they're able to buy it directly from you. They can use credit card. What do you use for your merchant account? Like, how do people pay right now?
So Shopify has a built-in credit card processing. It's Shopify Payments is what it's called. So we accept credit cards and then also PayPal on the website.
Great. And then you hold inventory yourself. So when someone sends in an order, you ship it directly to them. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Let's talk why you're selling the site instead of just keeping it or growing. I mean, it's only 5 months old. Why don't you keep it for another year, 2 years, and build it out even further?
Right. So I definitely see that this website is certainly a long-term play for somebody that has a passion for running this particular site. My passion really lies in creating the ideas, coming up with the product or the idea and marketing that idea, getting it off the ground, seeing if it's going to be successful or not. So for me, I don't have a passion to continue running this website. Like I said, it's an opportunity for growth. There's a lot of room to expand on this website, but for me, I'm more interested in putting my effort elsewhere into different projects.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the opportunities that you see and that I might see in terms of expanding the business. I think it's interesting. I think it's a really unique niche. I mean, there are other people doing it and there are other people making money, I think, which is actually a good sign. Right. So I think I got an understanding of why you're looking to sell it. I mean, you're looking to do other things. You want to kind of build up the idea from scratch. And then in terms of expanding it, that's not really your expertise. You'd rather kind of continuing to flow with new ideas and get new sites and businesses built.
Right.
What's your plan for the cash when you sell this? Are you going to take a vacation? You're going to reinvest in another business, go to Tahiti? What are you doing?
Well, For the most part, it's going to go away into, some interest investing account, I would assume. My girlfriend and I are talking about moving into the next step of our relationship and possibly starting, our lives together. So a good chunk of the money would probably go to making sure that we're going to be financially secure for a good amount of time. So yeah, there's a couple different, little things that I like to do with some cash here and there, maybe buy some hockey tickets and, maybe go on a little vacation here and there. But for the most part, it's all going to be put away.
Awesome. All right, man, let's get into the site history. Now, I said earlier that the site was built in November 2015. Give me a little idea as to the trajectory. You talked before we got on that as soon as you built it, you had something go, it was like popular on Reddit, and that got you like a little bit of traction. Like, what were the first kind of couple of weeks and couple of months in terms of building this up? How did it look?
Right. So the first day of selling was November 14th in 2015. And so, as I mentioned before when we were talking, I just posted a link on Reddit just to kind of see what the response would be. And the website had about 1,000 visitors and about $150 in revenue on day one. The revenue carried over into the next few days, and then it kind of tailed off, as it tends to do when you deal with Reddit traffic. So right off the bat, I saw that there was definitely an opportunity there, that there was interest, and this was a product that people would want to buy. So I decided to move into, pushing it on Facebook, doing some advertising there. So in November, we did just under $1,000 in revenue. December, we did about $4,500. January, a little under 12,000, and February, a little over 12,000. So it definitely grew extremely fast, and I think it grew way faster than I had ever anticipated it growing. Like I said, I saw that there was an opportunity with this website, but I never would have expected it to be this successful this fast.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's real viral appeal to the business, and you got some traction early on Reddit. You're doing quite a bit of Facebook advertising, and that's getting shared organically. I think I see why, right? And
Right.
anyone looking at this niche, I think, would see why as well. Can you tell me, did you learn anything in building this site that you kind of tried out for the first time, or that was new to you that you said, "Oh my God, this works. I'm going to do it on the next business I build. There's some value here."
I think one of the best ways, or one of the best reasons why this website has been shared so organically, was the type of images that I used to post on the Facebook page to then boost the posts. It wasn't necessarily a picture that you would see and be like, "Oh, that's an ad." You would know right off the bat. It was kind of it was something that would play on the heartstrings a little bit of people who would be interested in this niche or this product. And so it wasn't, I tried to make it so that it wasn't like an ad that I was trying to push a product to them. I was more pushing a solution to a problem. And I think that's what people bought up. I think that's why it did so much better than I thought it could have.
Yeah,
So,
it always seems like you're better off building a movement than selling a product, right?
yeah.
Cool. Did you try anything with this business that you thought was going to work and failed miserably, or something that you were hoping would get some traction and didn't?
I've tried adding a couple other products to this website. There's only 3 products that are available for sale. Obviously, I don't want to go too far in depth with that, but 2 of the products have done extremely well. The third product that I tried to introduce hasn't done as well as I expected it to. So I think it was more of a commercial product rather than a product that pertained to the topic of the website, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So that product didn't sell as well as I had hoped, but that was something that was a lesson to me. Instead of pushing all sorts of different products around the niche, to kind of focus on specific topic that this niche is about,
Yep.
rather than just kind of a general niche site product.
All right, let's talk a little bit about traffic and earnings. Can you give me a breakdown on like what percentage of your traffic is organic, what's, referral traffic, how much is social, how much is paid?
Sure. So for the first 3-4 months, I would say about 60% is paid, about 40% is organic. In the last month and a half, we've had a ton of referral traffic. The website actually got featured on the homepage of Reddit for a day. So that brought in about 15,000 people in a single day. It's been featured on sites like This Is Why I'm Broke, a couple other like clickbait style websites that are just high traffic and kind of deal with a whole bunch of different stories or different products. So a lot of the traffic lately has been referral, and so we've been able to actually scale back the paid traffic because the referral traffic is kind of keeping the numbers steady. The referral traffic has been great, and that's a huge area of opportunity, I think, moving forward.
One of the concerns I'd actually have in looking at this is that it's still relatively new, so I don't have a ton of history,
Right.
and it does have some viral appeal. So there's been a bunch of traction in terms of Reddit, and you get on the first page, and This Is Why I'm Broke, and that kind of thing. Like, who's to say that will necessarily continue, and what can I do as a potential buyer to make sure I don't lose that kind of virality of the site?
Right. So I haven't done really any outreach on this website. I haven't reached out to, blogs or different websites, niche websites that are pertain to this niche. I know that doing a lot of outreach would help the referral traffic. It'd also bring in a lot of sales, I think, if you were to reach out to, like I said, blog owners or other Facebook pages. If you want to go that route, Facebook groups is a great way to bring traffic to the website. So I have a handful of boosts of viral traffic that kind of come and go. But I think, like we've said before, because of the kind of the fact that this plays on the heartstrings a little bit of the people in this niche, I think there's definitely going to be a number of other days where it's going to be super viral. Someone's going to share it and it's going to take off again. And I've seen that multiple times over the course of running this website. So I definitely think that, over the next year or so, if somebody continues to run this website for that long, I don't have a real concern that the numbers are going to come way down because there's always going to be dogs. There's always going to be, pet lovers. And so I think that this website could just continue to stay steady, if not just continue to grow.
Yeah, I think for pet lovers or if someone looking to buy a site and they happen to be interested in pets, I think this is an absolutely fantastic look for them. Yes, it's early. Yes, there's not a whole lot of history, but the trajectory is great. And personally, I like the fact that it's paid traffic, and I like even the approach, the paid Facebook traffic, because of the potential viral nature of that. And I think anyone that's into this niche can find really creative ways to grow this site out, and we'll talk to that in just a minute when we talk about the opportunities. So let's get into that. Like, if you were going to keep this site and not sell it, what ways would you look to grow the site over the next couple of weeks, months, years?
So there's a handful of different ways. There's paid options and then there's the free options. Paid options would be expanding to other social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, doing some advertising there, maybe creating some sort of video about the product and posting it on YouTube and doing some YouTube ads. AdWords is another option. So there's a lot of other avenues other than Facebook that could be used to bring in more traffic and more sales.
Instagram for sure. Have you done nothing with Instagram with this?
We've done a little bit of doing some sponsored posts. Well, we'll pay a somebody that owns a pet related account to give them $50 to post a picture about our product and link to our website.
Yep.
And we've had some success there. It's not something that I've continued to do. As we talked earlier, we've been slammed with orders lately, so I'm kind of afraid to continue advertising and marketing the website heavily right now because I want to make sure that I get out all the orders so I don't have to deal with, bad customer service or anything like that. So yeah, Instagram is definitely a great platform to use for this website. In terms of going the opposite route of not paying, like we talked about blog outreach, talking about posting on Facebook pages, posting in Facebook groups, media buys would also be another good option if you want to go the paid route. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways that people could probably come up with a lot of creative, maybe trade shows that are niche specific. I think this would do very well there. So a lot of different ways that I think that the new owner could expand on this website.
I like the video idea. I think it'd be potentially a costly or risky bet, but I mean, there's just a ton of appeal. I think that could really, really work. I mean, the paid traffic is already working. I mentioned to you before the show, I've seen strategies with businesses like this where they buy up Facebook pages that are in the niche or around the niche, basically just reaching out to a bunch of people that look like they have the right audience and then offering to take over their Facebook page. And I think there'd be some value there too. Or as you mentioned, just paying them to put the post up. Instagram, of course, I think has a ton of opportunity. I think you can do some organic stuff here too. And as you mentioned, like maybe even hit up, you were on Reddit and you're on some of the subreddits there, but like hitting up some niche specific forums and stuff with the offer, I think might be valuable. So yeah, I think there's a ton of opportunity for growth. It's such an early business. I think that you haven't really explored all the avenues to expand this. One of the things I should mention, because there is a supplier needed, is that, and I won't get too much into this because it might be too clear, but there are multiple providers. Like the suppliers aren't really a problem. Like this is not something you're going to have trouble in terms of getting approved with a supplier or whatever. There's plenty of places you can go and you can work with. Let's talk about risk with the businesses or with this particular business. What risk do you see for a potential buyer? So put your skeptical hat on for a second and step into the buyer's shoes and say, what would you be concerned about?
I think the only real concern would be oversaturating the market, if that makes sense, trying to post it too many places in too many time or, too small amount of time. You might run the risk of a lot of people seeing it more than once. We've had some people who have seen the website and the product and they think it's kind of a dumb idea, or maybe it's something that they could produce themselves rather than, buying it. So, you have the people who are hating on your idea a lot. So you have to deal with them. But I think that overall, the response to this website has been great. A lot of people see that it fits a problem, even though, yeah, it's something that an individual could probably produce maybe themselves or have somebody else produce it for them rather than paying us to create and ship this product to them. But I think that would really be the only risk. Otherwise, I think this website would be in the clear.
Yeah, as I mentioned before already, one of my concerns might be that I would lose out on some of the kind of viral nature of what you've had in terms of like Reddit posts, or whatever. But I think that you haven't really fully explored that niche. So I think there's plenty more opportunity for that, and oversaturation, which you mentioned, right? So if there are, let's say, 50 competitors join right now, this niche isn't so big that it could handle just a ton of competition. I mean, there are other people doing this, but eventually it could be oversaturated, and that would be a problem. But aside from that, I mean, you're not getting a ton of traffic from organic. You haven't done really any link building to the site. Like, that hasn't been your push, so there's no risk there. I mean, the paid traffic, obviously, if it got more expensive or you weren't able to do it at the same level, I mean, that could be a problem. Are you a Facebook paid ads expert? I mean, how did you get into that? Did you just kind of like pick up what you could? Have you done it for other sites?
Yeah, I don't know if I would call myself an expert, but I definitely do know my way around the platform. I've advertised a number of different businesses and websites and products that I've done in the past. I've kind of self-taught on the Facebook platform. I've spent a ton of money learning, seeing what works, what doesn't work. And so one of the things that I do want to include for the new buyers, kind of an outline of what I do specifically for this website to grow this website and to advertise the product, to make sure that, maybe if somebody that buys the website isn't necessarily experienced in Facebook advertising, they don't have to worry about not having any success, because I'm going to give them, basically a step by step of what I do to have success with this website.
Do you advertise just on the Facebook platform? Do you use something like Ad Espresso or something like that?
I'm only using just the Facebook platform. And I know that, if somebody's familiar with Ad Espresso or any of those other platforms, that, they can start split testing and start, targeting different interests and all sorts of different stuff like that. So there's probably another opportunity there if they bring on somebody who's more experienced than I am to continue growing this website.
Cool, AJ. Interesting. All right, let's get into the work required. I mean, there are a few different pieces you have to know here. I mean, obviously, the Facebook advertising, kind of editing comments, ordering inventory, shipping the inventory out. How much time overall do you think you spend on the business right now on a weekly basis?
On a weekly basis, I would say maybe about 5 to 7 hours, maybe an hour a day. A majority of that is just packing the product and stamping the envelopes and taking them down to the post office. So a majority of the work, like I said, is just packing the orders. There's a little bit of time involved in answering some emails, engaging people on the social media channels, but for the most part, it's just the order fulfillment that's really eating into the time.
Why haven't you sent that to someone else that ships the items out for you? Like, why have you, continued to do it yourself?
Well, like I said, when I first started this website, I had no idea how fast and how successful it was going to be. And so in the beginning, I saw that it was, there would be a handful or maybe a half dozen orders a day. And I thought, oh, if it continues like this, I can easily handle this myself. But lately it's been extremely busy. And so I have looked into maybe fulfillment centers to handle the packing and shipping for me. I do have a handful of different fulfillment centers that could be used for this product. But for the time being, I'm just going to go ahead and continue handling that myself until I pass this on to the new owner. And maybe the new owner would like to turn to a fulfillment center for help, because it would definitely free up some time for the new owner.
Gotcha, AJ. All right, man, let's talk about some additional information. If I was buying this business, one thing I wouldn't want you to do is I wouldn't want you to turn around and start competing with me directly in the same niche, offering the same products. Would you be willing to sign a non-compete against the new buyer for a set period of time?
Yeah, definitely. I have no problem with that.
Cool. And then in terms of support, I mean, I see there's not a ton of support. Maybe the ads, I think, is probably important. I think also running and managing kind of the social media, the Facebook in particular, in terms of the organic stuff. How much support are you willing to offer a new buyer that wants to pick the site up?
So I'm happy to offer 15 days of email support. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm putting together a kind of an outline of what is required to run the site. Everything from the ads, like you said, are a big part of it. Engaging the fans on the Facebook page, how I go about fulfilling the orders, and what the new buyer can do to continue growing the site, and kind of outlining different ideas and different rooms for growth for that new buyer.
Awesome. And then, AJ, obviously 100% cash upfront offer would be ideal. But we sometimes get offers based on like a set period of training. So let's say, for example, someone came in and said, look, I want to give you 80% upfront and I'll give you 20% after the 15 days of training, or I want to do an earnout. Let's say I'll do 70% and 30% over the next 6 months. Would you be open to something like that?
I think I would be more open to maybe something where there was a percentage up front and then a percentage after the buyer feels comfortable running the website.
Hmm.
I think that would be fair for both me and the new buyer, just to make sure that the new buyer, has a grip on everything that they're doing with the website. So it doesn't feel like we're kind of just, cutting them dry and letting them figure it out for themselves. So I think that'd be something that I'd be open to.
Awesome, AJ. Okay, just to do a wrap up really quick on the business. Again, the niche is the pets. It's e-commerce business built in November 2015. The monthly revenue on this, $7,343 a month. Again, that's a 4-month average. Expenses come out to $2,517 a month for a net profit of $4,826 a month. It's a Shopify store. All social media accounts are included. There is a paid Facebook strategy, and the Facebook page comes with the business. AJ, if you could give me your best pitch in the next 30 seconds on why you think someone should purchase this site, what would it be?
Right. So, kind of talking about what we've talked about in the past here, that there's a lot of opportunity for growth. That the pet niche is a niche that's evergreen for sure. It's always going to be around. There's always going to be pet owners looking for products for their pets to either make them happier pets or to better their lives in some way. So there's definitely, I wouldn't be concerned about the website drying up after a certain amount of time. It's something that if the buyer continues to work on, expand on new traffic ideas, new marketing ideas, that is definitely going to be a continued success.
Awesome, AJ. For anyone listening to this or watching this, let's say you're on YouTube or whatever, and you're interested in finding out more information about this business, again, the listing number is 40453. There is a link in the notes. You can click over and go take you to empireflippers.com and show you the listing where you can get more information. If you're looking at the listing page on Empire Flippers and you'd like full detailed information, including the niche, including the URL, including earnings, including traffic, you can pay a refundable deposit to see all that information. We'll send it to you right away to help you make your buying decision and do your due diligence. Again, AJ, thank you so much for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.